Well, after more than a year of speculation, it is finally confirmed Universal Great Britain has been greenlit and will be coming, hopefully, 2031. I'm going to be 50. Yikes. So we kind of knew this was coming. I mean, if you've seen the videos from other channels, there have been fences put up recently. There are diggers on site. So it was kind of clear this was coming. But this morning it was announced by Keir Starmer that it has been greenlit. Now, please don't get political in the comments. I realise this started before Labour were in charge. He's just the man that made the announcement. So it is what it is. But this is fantastic news. This is absolutely what all of us have been looking for. There's been some concept art released as well. Now, we all know concept art doesn't always work, right? Take a look at what the Smiler was going to look like. It doesn't look like that. But it gives us an indication to what the sort of things that they're thinking on doing. It's a similar kind of style to a number of the other parks where there's kind of a lake in the middle and then there's some kind of lands off to the sides of that. The entrance in this concept art looks very, very similar to what you would get over in Orlando. And in terms of the size of land that they've bought in Bedford, again, comparable. Now, they're not going to use all of it straight away. There is an area that's left for a potential second gate, which I think we'll get, but that'll be even more years down the line. So you've got this entrance, you've got this lakeside bit. There are a number of large coasters in there. Now, one of them looks like it's a multi-launch coaster with a large spike. Now, already people are starting to speculate what themed areas we're going to get. Quite a few people think this could be a kind of Hill Valley, Back to the Future style area, which would be amazing. I mean, we don't have that in any Universal park, and I'd love to see it. But that looks like a great ride. Hopefully, even if the theme changes, the ride hardware itself does not. Over towards the back, there is yet another massive, massive coaster. This one seems to come out over that lake, do a kind of helix and come back. Be great if it did something comparable to the Mosasaurus roll off Jurassic World, Velocicoaster, sorry. But who knows? In the other back corner, we have what looks like a couple of drop towers. And then there's sort of a, I assume a water ride. Looks like it could be, again, people are comparing this Jurassic World. You know, this could be that kind of boat ride. Massive, massive show building. There's also a kind of, looks like a show over in the other corner. Sort of an arena, sort of fire, and it looks like some water. So there's going to be some entertainment, obviously. It's Universal. And then there's a section that looks comparable to Minions over in Universal Beijing, I think it is, with a kind of coaster, or at least I don't know if it's a real coaster or kind of like a fake coaster on the roof and then an attraction inside. People have already started comparing it to other parks, so some people have seen areas that look like Shrek. Again, they could just be leveraging some of the stuff they've already got. They could very well be bringing those IPs here. I think, you know, it's one of those things that many of us have talked about. Whilst we would love some unique IPs, you know, people have said James Bond or Paddington Bear or Lord of the Rings, etc. There are some tried and tested IPs. Now, they're not going to bring us clones of the exact same rides from around the world because they don't want to cannibalize their other markets. There's a lot of British people go to Orlando. So if they replicated Orlando here, well, we're not going to go. So they're going to give us something unique, but I still think they're probably going to leverage a number of the IPs that we're familiar with. Nobody spotted anything in this that looks Harry Potter-esque. That'll be interesting to see because if you look at Epic Universe, if you've not avoided spoilers, of course, there's just some stunning, stunning theming in that area. It is just spectacular. So let's get into what this potentially means for the UK. So, as I've just sort of touched on there are a number of large coasters in the concept. And I think these would easily be contenders for the most thrilling coasters we have here in the UK. Because let's be fair, we don't have the most thrilling ride lineup. Yeah, the big one is literally big, but it is not thrilling. Hyperia is great, but it is tiny. There are some others. I quite like Swarm. You know, Nemesis is good and all that, but they're just not at that kind of world-class level these days. So it'll be interesting to see. Just because these are big coasters doesn't mean they're going to be any good. But again, Universal's kind of known for that, so I suspect we are in for something spectacular. As I've said as well, there are some huge show buildings, so one thing that this country doesn't do particularly well is dark rides. Now, there's a couple of okay ones. I quite like Wallace and Gromit, fine. You could class Valhalla as a dark ride and it keeps winning awards and stuff. Towers doesn't really have anything decent. Thorpe has nothing. The Ghost Train is terrible. So I think from a dark rides point of view, they're just going to show us up. Again, if you look at Epic Universe, some of the stuff in that kind of Monsters land is just bonkers. So if we get that kind of level over here, it's massively going to step up the game. Which then I guess sort of brings that question of what is this going to do to the industry over here, right? So many of us for a while have hoped for somebody to come in and give Merlin a kick up the backside because they're kind of sat on their laurels as we run the parks, whatever, and they're struggling. I think we all know they're struggling. This is going to have to force them to do something, right? Now, whether that is invest, they're obviously putting some effort into Chessington right now with the kind of Minecraft area and the other section that they're doing, over where the Mexicana area was. So they're doing some stuff there, but again, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to compete to the level of Universal. They're not doing a huge amount in Towers right now, or across the other parks. I've said before, I'd just like Merlin to sell off some or all of the theme parks because I don't think they're the right people to run them. So I'm curious to see what impact this has, whether they magically find some money and start pumping it into all the parks, or whether they start selling off some assets and focusing on what is left. The little guys, obviously Blackpool, Flamingo Land, Polton's Park. Blackpool's investing some money. They're obviously struggling, but they're not giving up, right? And they have not, and never will, competed with the sort of thing you're going to get from Universal, right? They are not a theme park, they are an amusement park. Flamingo Land is mostly forgotten by most people. They do occasionally chuck a big chunk of change at things. They're doing some work to the Lost River right now. I suspect they'll come in with some new rides. I think they're so far out there that they're not going to be impacted by this. And then Polton's, they're smashing it. Again, different demographic, far younger audience. There's no thrill there. So I think they are going to be fine as well. Listen, it's obviously tough times for everybody. We've seen 2 parks close already in the last 12 months. Let's just hope that no more do. In terms of the economy, I mean, this is going to be huge, right? This is literally bringing billions to the economy. For starters, there's going to be a truckload of jobs in the construction industry. I know Andy, Coaster Crazy, he's desperate to get out there with his crane and start building it. So tons of jobs are going to be needed to build this park in the first place. Once the park obviously exists, there's going to be a ridiculous number of staff that run the rides and the restaurants and all the other bits and bobs that go with it. So huge boost to employment. There's obviously the infrastructure as well, right? They're doing a lot of work on the rail lines and stuff. No doubt this expansion to Luton is connected to this, so there's going to be more jobs there as well. It is definitely going to attract some more tourists, right? People will come here to try this park and probably stay and do other things in the area. So massive economic boost for the UK, which is fantastic news because, well, we could do with some more money over here. So yeah, I'm pretty positive about almost everything about this. It's exciting times. And so that's just my thoughts on what we've got so far. I mean, there's still so much information to come out. Make sure you follow me on Facebook and Instagram because I will be posting as much information as I can there. Obviously, I don't live anywhere near Bedford, so you're not going to get construction updates from me. There's plenty of other channels covering that, so follow Jack, follow Sean, follow Digital Dan, because they will be there. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this one. Can you actually believe this is now happening? Because we've been talking about it for so long, and finally, it's been confirmed. It is happening. 2031 is the prediction. I'm still kind of a bit speechless, so I'd love to know your thoughts. If you've enjoyed this one, hit that like button and please do also subscribe. I've been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad, and I shall see you in the next one. Adios!